The book I read is called Prairie Winter. Is a book written by Bonnie Geisert. This book is about a young girl named Rachel and her family friends that go through a really tough, harsh and very cold winter. Rachel lives on a farm that isn't very close to her school like most of the other kids' houses were. Whenever school was closed she would be very upset because she wouldn't be able to see her friends. One day she was in school and it was snowing really badly, so they had to get on the bus right away so they can get home as soon as possible. All the kids were on the bus, but the closer they got to their homes, the harder and more it snowed. When Rachel reached a few stops before her and her sisters, the bus got stuck in the snow. When the bus got stuck everyone was worried. There weren't too many people to help because not many people were on the road. The bus driver got off the bus and then went to go get help. The kids were sitting on the bus for a few hours. When the bus driver got back, after a few hours he came with someone to help them. The person who helped them got them a car to get to the closest house, which was the Hart's house. The Harts were very kind and let the girls stay at their house for a few days. Rachel and her sisters were very worried staying at the Hart's house because no one in their family knew if they were okay because no one had a phone or a way to communicate. The Harts thought that Rachel's family would be listening to the radio to get an update on the weather, so the Harts called the radio station and asked them to make an announcement saying that Rachel and her sisters are safe and at the Hart's house. Lucky Rachel. As parents heard the announcement and knew they were safe, a few days later their dad picked them up from the Hart's house. There was still a lot of snow on the road, so it took them about an hour or so to get home in the cold. When it snowed they were usually off of school for many days, since they lived far away from their school. It always took a while for people to clear the snow off the road and for the families to clear the snow off of where they live. It was also very hard to travel because of all the snow and ice on the road, and the parents or the buses didn't want to take the risk or chance of driving on all the ice on the roads. Since it snowed a lot the girls missed a lot of school and they didn't get to see their friends. Rachel didn't like when it snowed because then school was cancelled and she wasn't able to see any of her friends. She couldn't see her friends. It was also dangerous for anyone to drive on the roads with the weather conditions. This really made Rachel really upset because they are the people she plays in the snow with, and now that she couldn't see them until the weather conditions were better she would have to play in the snow alone. Then towards the end of the book Rachel and 2 out of 3 of her other sisters had to go stay in a hotel alone with 2 random strangers. They had to do this because all the other kids were in school and they were missing a lot of school. Not all of the girls got to go back to school. One of her sisters had to stay home and miss more school. Rachel was really excited to go back to school and see her friends. She was really going to miss her mom, dad, sister, and brother. She was also very worried about her mom because she was sick and she couldn't get to talk to them because they didn't have a phone. Leaving their home and staying at a hotel with 2 other strangers was a big deal for Rachel and her sisters. They went to the hotel and back to school, and then after a few weeks their mom, dad, sister, and brother surprised them. Then the girls got to go home and went to school on the bus. After that winter everything was back to... How are you? Hi. I'm good, thank you. How are you? I'm good, thank you. Can I ask you some questions about the time you had a prairie winter? Sure. What was it like being stuck in a school bus for a few hours? It was very scary. I didn't know what to do. When Les said, "We're stuck," no one on the bus including me believed him. We didn't know what to do, how to help, or how long we were going to be there for. After Les tried to get the bus moving time after time, he stopped and just went to get help. Once Les left I got even more scared than I already was. We were going to be stuck in a turned-off bus with basically nothing. I was so worried about so many things. I was worried about my family because I didn't know if they were okay or not. I was also worried about if we would make it out of being stuck. Another thing I was worried about was if Les would find us some help. There were many more things that I was worried about at that time. The fact that my family didn't have a phone so we could call each other didn't help either. Did you enjoy staying at the Hart's house? Yes, I greatly enjoyed it at the Hart's household. They were super kind and caring to my sisters and I. The Harts always made sure that we were all safe and sound. They made me feel like I was at home. They treat their guests amazingly. The best part was I didn't have to do much, like feed the kettle. I was still very worried about my family because we didn't have a way to communicate. Mrs. Hart was kind enough to call the radio station to tell them to announce that my sisters and I are safe. When they made the announcement on the radio, I was still worried because I didn't know if my parents heard it. Luckily they did. You must have been so worried. I was. How worried were you when you and David couldn't find Evan and Dick? At first I thought they were playing a joke on David and I, but it turns out they weren't. I could tell by the look on David's face that he was frightened. I tried to stay calm because I didn't want David to get even more frightened than he already was, but I was scared as well. We tried calling out their names multiple times, but it didn't help us. When David thought he heard something, it would get his hopes up until it turned out to be nothing. I wasn't only scared that we wouldn't have been able to find Evan and Dick, but I was also scared that someone would be in or around the barn. When we first heard Evan and Dick's voice, we were relieved to find them, but he didn't know if we would be able to get them out from being stuck. We didn't want to leave them alone, but they wanted us to go get them help, so we did. David and I went to go get Mr. Hart, so he can help us get them out. Once we started to tell Mr. Hart the story, he just started laughing. We were so confused. Then David and I turned around and saw that Evan and Dick were fine. We were really angry at them. How did you feel when your mom told you and her family that she was having another baby? I wasn't really shocked or surprised when she told us that she was having another baby, because before she told us she started feeling sick, and last time she was that sick was when she was pregnant with Matthew. I am very excited to have another younger sibling. It is a lot of fun to be an older sister. I was also worried because at the time we were having such bad weather and no one knew how long this weather would last. Then I remembered that there was still a few more months until the baby comes, and the weather would be nicer. For some reason, when Mom told us that she was having another baby, I remember Dad having this worried look on his face, but I don't know why. I also overheard Susie telling Matthew that he was going to have a younger sibling and that he was going to be a big brother. Once Mom told us, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like I said, I'm super excited. Did you like staying at the hotel, or would you have rather been home? I enjoyed being at the hotel, but I also would have enjoyed being home at the same time. At the hotel they took good care of us, and I did like going back to school to see all my friends, but I missed home. I miss seeing all my friends because sometimes it could be lonely at home. It was also a nice little break away from feeding the cattle and working at home. At the same time, so much was going on with the weather, Mom having another baby, and much more. It was also hard because I couldn't talk to no one from home because at home there was no phone at home for my family to use. The hardest part of being at the hotel was being away from my family. Thank you for answering my questions. Have a nice day. No problem. The book, Prairie Winter, is a very good book. The book always had twists and turns. Whenever something that happened was going good, something else would happen. I would recommend this book to any young girl who enjoys reading fiction books with events that can occur in real life. Something that I enjoyed about the book was that in some parts of the book it makes you infer what is going to happen. Something else that I enjoyed about the book was the chapters. They were always very positive, and I think many people would enjoy that. I think that this book would be a very good book for girls to read. The author, Bonnie Geisert, also has other books. Two of those books are Prairie Summer and Lessons